My husband broke my lover's jaw because he caught us in bed. I know how that sounds. I know some people will hear that title and think they already know the whole story. They will think I was just a selfish woman who destroyed her home, and maybe they are right. I am not here to make myself look innocent. I am not here to make anyone feel sorry for me. I am here because every night, when the house gets quiet, I still hear the sound of that bedroom door hitting the wall. I still see my husband standing there. I still see the look on his face before everything went bad, and I still remember the moment I realized I had broken a man who only ever tried to love me. My name is Serena. I was 32 when it happened. I had a husband, a nice home, a good job, and a life that looked peaceful from the outside. People used to tell me I was blessed. They would say, "Girl, your husband loves you, you'd better hold on to that man." And I would smile because I knew they were right. My husband's name was Marcus. Marcus was not perfect, but he was steady. He was the kind of man who woke up early even when he was tired. The kind of man who checks the tires on my car before long drives. The kind of man who stood between me and the world without making a big speech about it. He did not talk much, but his love showed in everything he did. When we first met, I was 24. I was working at a hotel front desk, trying to figure life out. Marcus came in on a rainy day wearing a soaked black jacket and carrying a toolbox. The elevator had stopped working, and he was there with the maintenance company. I remember looking up from the desk and seeing him wipe rain from his face. He had calm eyes, not the kind of eyes that begged for attention, not the kind of eyes that chased every woman in the room. He looked at me once, smiled politely, and asked where the service elevator was. That should have been nothing. But something about his voice stayed with me. A few hours later, he came back down. The rain was still hitting the glass doors. I was sitting behind the desk, rubbing my temples because my manager had been yelling at me all day. Marcus stopped before he left and said, "You all right?" That was all, 2 words, but he said it like he actually wanted to know. I told him I was fine, but my eyes betrayed me. He did not push. He just nodded and said, "Well, don't let nobody make you feel small. You're doing better than you think." Then he walked into the rain. I thought about that sentence for 3 days. A week later, he came back to the hotel for another repair. This time he brought me coffee, no big speech, no flirting, just placed it on the counter and said, "Figured you might need this." That was Marcus. Quiet, thoughtful, safe. We started talking after that, then started dating, and ended up spending every weekend together. Marcus took me to simple places like food trucks, late-night diners, movie theaters, and walks in the park. He was not rich, but he made every moment feel full. When he proposed, he did so in our apartment, with candles from the dollar store, because the power had gone out during a storm. I laughed because the candles smelled like vanilla and lemon cleaner, and he got nervous, thinking I was laughing at him. I said yes before he even finished asking. For years, I believed I had made the best decision of my life. Our marriage was good at first. Not perfect, but good. We worked, paid bills, cooked together, argued about small things, made up, and kept moving. Marcus wanted children, but I kept saying we should wait. Wait until we have more money. Wait until my job is better. Wait until I feel ready. Marcus never pressured me. He would nod and say, "When you're ready, I'm ready." That was another thing about him. He gave me freedom, maybe too much freedom. Because somewhere along the way, I started mistaking peace for boredom. I hate admitting that. It sounds ugly because it is ugly. Sometimes Marcus comes home tired. His hands were rough from work. Sometimes he would eat dinner, shower, and fall asleep on the couch with the TV still playing. I would sit beside him, scrolling through my phone, watching women online getting flowers, surprise trips, expensive dinners, and long captions from their men. I started comparing. That was my first mistake. I started looking at what other women had and forgetting what Marcus gave me every day. He fixed everything that broke. He paid the bills before I had to ask. He checked on my mother. He remembered my favorite snacks. He rubbed my feet when I complained, even when he was more tired than I was. But he was not excited anymore. At least that is what I told myself. I stopped seeing love because it did not come wrapped in drama. Then came Andre. Andre worked in the same office building as I did. He was not in my department, but I sometimes saw him in the lobby. Tall, sharp haircut, always dressed like he had somewhere important to be. He smelled like expensive cologne and talked like he knew exactly what women wanted to hear. At first it was nothing. A smile by the elevator, a joke near the coffee machine. He would say, "You look nice today," when I had spent extra time on my makeup. I should have shut it down. I should have said thank you and moved on. But I liked it. I liked the way his eyes stayed on me a little too long. I liked how he noticed when I changed my hair. I liked how he made me feel seen in a way I had not felt in a long time. One afternoon, I was sitting outside the building eating lunch alone. Marcus had texted me earlier that he would be working late. I remember staring at his message with a dry feeling in my chest. Andre walked over with his food and said, "You always look like you're carrying the world." I laughed and told him maybe I am. He sat down without asking. We talked for 20 minutes, then 30. We talked during my entire lunch break. He asked questions, not deep ones at first, just enough to make me feel like he cared. He asked what music I liked, what I wanted to do with my life, if I was married, and why I always looked sad when I thought no one was watching. That one hit me. Because I did not know, I looked sad. After talking for a while, Andre and I exchanged phone numbers. When I went home that night, Marcus was already there. He was under the kitchen sink, fixing a leak. His shirt was damp with sweat, his arm twisted behind the pipe, tools spread on the floor. He looked up and smiled. "Hey, baby, food's in the microwave." I looked at him, this man lying on the floor fixing our home after working 10 hours, and instead of feeling grateful, I felt irritated. I said, "You could have waited for me." He blinked. "For the food?" "No, Marcus, to eat together." He looked confused. "I thought you'd be hungry when you got in." I rolled my eyes and walked away. That was how it started. Not with a kiss, not with a hotel room. It started with me punishing my husband for not reading my mind, while another man got credit for asking easy questions. Andre started texting me the next day. At first, it was innocent, a meme, a work joke, a "you made it home safe?" I told myself it was harmless, but harmless things do not need to be deleted. And I started deleting messages. Marcus noticed my phone habits before he said anything. I would turn the screen down when he walked into the room. I started taking my phone to the bathroom. I changed my passcode and told myself it was because everyone needs privacy. One night, Marcus looked at me from across the bed and said, "Who are you always texting?" My heart jumped so hard I felt it in my throat. I said, "Nobody, just work stuff." He stared at me for a second, not angry, just watching. Then he nodded and said, "Okay." That okay should have scared me, because Marcus was not stupid. He was quiet, but he was not blind. The first time Andre touched me, we were in the parking garage after work. It was raining hard outside, and the sound of water rushing through the drains echoed around the concrete walls. My car was parked on level 3. The lights above us flickered like something from a movie. He walked me to my car, even though I told him not to. We stood there too long. He said, "You know he doesn't see you." I should have defended my husband. Instead, I whispered, "You don't know that." Andre stepped closer. "I see you." Those 3 words did something to me. Not because they were true, because I wanted them to be. His fingers brushed mine. I did not move away. Then his hand touched my waist. My breath caught. I remember the smell of rain, gasoline, and his cologne. I remember the shine of the wet tire marks on the concrete. I remember my phone buzzing in my purse. It was Marcus. I did not answer. Andre kissed me. And I let him. It was not soft. It was hungry, wrong, fast. My back hit my car door, and for a few seconds I forgot everything except the heat of his mouth and the sound of rain beating against the garage. Then my phone buzzed again. "Marcus." I pushed Andre away. I was shaking. Andre smiled like he had won something. I hated that smile, but not enough to stop. That night I came home late. Marcus was sitting at the kitchen table with a plate covered in foil in front of him. He had waited for me. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator. "Where were you?" he asked. "Work ran late." He looked at my clothes, my hair, my face. I walked past him too quickly. He said, "Serena?" I stopped. There was something in his voice, a warning, a hurt, a chance. I turned around, annoyed because guilt makes you cruel when you do not want to feel it. "What, Marcus?" He stared at me. Then he said, "Don't lie to me." My stomach dropped. I wanted to confess right there. I wanted to fall to my knees and tell him I had lost my mind in a parking garage. I wanted to cry and beg him to help me become the woman I used to be. But pride stood between us like a wall, so I said, "I'm not lying." He looked down at the table. His jaw tightened. Then he nodded. "All right." That was the second "all right" I ignored. After that, everything moved faster. Andre became bolder. He called late at night. He sent messages that made my face burn. He told me he wanted me. He told me I deserved passion. He told me Marcus was probably cheating too because men like that always had secrets. That was a lie. Marcus was many things, but he was not that. Still, I listened because lies sound sweet when they excuse what you already want to do. The affair became physical 2 weeks after the parking garage kiss. The first time it happened, I told Marcus I had a girls' night. I wore a black dress he had bought me for our anniversary. That is one of the details that still makes me sick. Marcus saw me getting ready in the mirror. He was sitting on the bed, tying his work boots because he had picked up an overnight job. His eyes moved over me slowly. "You look beautiful," he said. I did not even look at him. I said, "Thanks." He smiled a little. Be safe, okay? I nodded. Then he stood up, walked behind me, and kissed my shoulder. I froze, not because I hated it, because I knew where I was going. His lips touched my skin, gentle and familiar, and for 1 second I almost canceled everything. I almost turned around and told him I was sorry. I almost chose my marriage. Then my phone lit up on the dresser. Andre texted, I'm downstairs. Marcus saw the light, but not the name. I grabbed the phone too fast. His smile faded. Your ride here? Yeah, I said. He looked at me for a long moment, then handed me the house keys and said, have fun. I walked out before my tears could start. Andre took me to a lounge first. Loud music, dark corners, colored lights moving over people's faces. He kept his hand on my lower back as I belonged to him. I drank too much because I needed something to drown the guilt. By midnight, we were at a hotel. I remember the hallway carpet, red and gold patterns, too bright under the dim lights. I remember the keycard not working the first time. Andre laughed and kissed my neck while I stood there, pretending I wasn't terrified. Inside the room, everything smelled like bleach and air freshener. The curtains were closed, the bed was too white. Andre kissed me before the door fully shut. I wish I could say I stopped him. I did not. I crossed the line completely that night. And when it was over, I lay beside him staring at the ceiling while my phone glowed on the nightstand. 3 missed calls from Marcus. 1 message, call me when you can, just wanted to hear your voice. I turned the phone face down and cried silently while Andre slept. When I got home that morning, Marcus was half asleep. He asked me, did you have fun with the girls? I said yes, then he went back to sleep. I took a shower, then lay next to him and cried silently. That should have been the end. It should have scared me enough to stop. But sin has a way of making the next time easier. The first time I felt like I was falling off a cliff. The second time I told myself I had already fallen. After that, I became someone I did not recognize. I lied with a straight face. I picked fights with Marcus so I could leave the house angry. I accused him of being controlling when he asked normal questions. I made him feel guilty for noticing the truth. One night, he came home early and found me dressed up again. Where are you going? He asked. I was putting earrings in. Out. With who? Why does it matter? He slowly set his keys on the counter. Because I'm your husband. I laughed, but there was nothing funny in it. Now you remember that? His face changed. What's that supposed to mean? It means you're always tired, always working, always somewhere else, even when you're here. He stared at me as I had slapped him. I'm working for us. No, I snapped. You're hiding behind work because you don't know how to be present. That was cruel, and it was not true. Marcus stepped closer, his voice low. Serena, look me in my face and tell me there's nobody else. The apartment went silent. Even the air felt still. I looked at him. My husband, the man who had loved me through broken days, bad moods, family drama, and every version of myself, and I lied. There's nobody else. His eyes filled with something I had never seen before. Not tears, not anger, something deeper, disappointment. He nodded once and walked into the bedroom. I left anyway. That night, Andre asked me to come to his place, but I did not. Something about Marcus's face followed me. I drove around for an hour, parked behind a closed grocery store, and cried with both hands on the steering wheel. Then I went home. Marcus was awake in the living room. The TV was on mute. He did not ask where I had been. I stood by the door waiting for him to yell. He did not. That was worse. He just said, I'm tired, Serena. I whispered, then go to sleep. He looked at me. I'm not talking about sleep. I had no answer. For a week I stayed away from Andre. I blocked his number, then unblocked it. I told myself I was done with him, then checked my phone every 5 minutes. My body was home with Marcus, but my mind was restless and messy. Marcus tried during that week. He cooked dinner one night. He brought home flowers the next day. Not expensive flowers, just yellow ones from the grocery store because he remembered I liked bright colors in the kitchen. I saw them and felt rage instead of love. That is how deep my guilt had poisoned me. I said, flowers don't fix everything. He looked down at them. I know. Then why bring them? He gently put them on the counter, because I still want to try. I walked away because I could not stand the softness in his voice. Andre found a way to contact me through social media. Just one message, you miss me, stop pretending. I stared at it for a long time. Then I replied. That was the final door opening. The day everything happened was a Thursday. Andre asked if he could come over to my house to see me because he hadn't seen me in a while. At first, I was going to say no, but something told me to say yes. I remember because it had been raining all morning. Gray sky, wet streets, that cold kind of rain that makes everything look tired. Marcus left early for work. He kissed my forehead before he left and I pretended to be asleep. I had called out sick. That was another lie. Andre came over around noon. I knew it was reckless. I knew Marcus sometimes came home for tools or paperwork. But I told myself he was working across town. I told myself I had time. I told myself so many things. Andre walked in wearing a dark hoodie, smelling like rain and cologne. He looked around our living room with a little smirk. So this is where the good husband lives. I did not like that. Don't start, I said. He laughed and pulled me close. You nervous? Yes? That makes it better. I should have pushed him out right then. Instead, I let him kiss me in the hallway beside the wedding photo. That photo was from a beach trip Marcus and I took 2 years after we got married. I was smiling so hard my eyes were almost closed. Marcus had his arms around my waist. We looked happy. Andre kissed me under that picture, and I still did not stop. We went to the bedroom, my marriage bed. Rain tapped against the window. The room was dim because the clouds blocked the sun. My phone was on the dresser. I remember seeing the screen light up once, then twice. I ignored it. Andre's hands were on me. My mind was racing. Somewhere deep inside, a voice kept saying, "Stop, stop, stop." But I did not. Then I heard a sound. A car door outside. Andre froze. What was that? I sat up. My heart started beating so loud I could hear it in my ears. Another sound. Keys. The front door. I jumped out of bed so fast I almost fell. Andre grabbed his clothes from the floor. My hands shook as I reached for my robe. I could hear Marcus in the living room. The door closed. His boots stepped on the floor. Slow, heavy, not rushing. That scared me more. "Serena?" he called. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Andre whispered, "Say something." I looked at him, half-dressed, panic on his face, and suddenly he no longer looked excited. He looked like a mistake. "Serena?" Marcus called again. Closer now. The hallway creaked. I tied my robe with trembling fingers. Then the bedroom door opened, not slowly, not like in a movie where someone eases into the truth. Marcus pushed it open hard, and it slammed against the wall. The sound cracked through the room. Everything stopped. The rain, my breathing, my heart. For 1 second, nobody moved. Marcus stood in the doorway, wearing his work pants and gray hoodie. Rainwater clung to his shoulders. His face was still at first, too still. His eyes moved from me to Andre, then to the bed, then back to me. I will never forget his face. It was not just anger, it was a shock. It was pain so deep it looked physical, like someone had reached inside his chest and ripped something out with both hands. I said, "Marcus." He held up one hand, just one hand. That was all it took to silence me. Andre started talking fast. "Man, listen, it ain't even like..." Marcus moved before Andre finished. He crossed that room like a storm. Andre tried to step back, but his leg hit the bed. Marcus grabbed him by the front of his hoodie and slammed him into the dresser. The mirror shook. My perfume bottles fell and shattered on the floor. "Marcus!" I screamed. Andre swung first. That is the part people do not know. Andre threw a punch. It caught Marcus near the cheek, and Marcus's head turned slightly. Then everything exploded. Marcus hit him once in the ribs. Andre folded. Marcus hit him again in the face. The sound was horrible, a dull crack. Not like movies, not clean, not dramatic, real. Andre stumbled sideways, grabbing at Marcus's shirt. They crashed into the nightstand. The lamp fell and the bulb burst against the floor. Glass scattered across the carpet. I screamed again. "Stop! Please stop!" Marcus did not hear me. Or maybe he did. Maybe he could not stop yet. Andre tried to get to the door, but Marcus caught him. They slammed against the closet. Hangers fell, shoes scattered. Andre shoved Marcus hard, and Marcus slipped on the broken lamp glass but caught himself. For a second, I thought Andre might run. Then he made the mistake of saying, "She wanted me." Marcus's whole face changed. He hit Andre so hard that Andre dropped to one knee. Blood spilled from Andre's mouth onto the carpet. I grabbed Marcus's arm. "Marcus, please." He turned toward me, and the look he gave me made me let go. Not because I was afraid he would hurt me, because I saw the question in his eyes. Why? Just that. Why? Andre groaned from the floor. His jaw looked wrong, swollen already. His mouth hung slightly open, as if he could not close it. Blood ran down his chin and dripped onto his hoodie. Marcus backed away, breathing hard. His hands were shaking. The room smelled like rain, sweat, blood, and perfume. My robe was loose, my hair was a mess, my whole life lay in pieces on the floor. Andre crawled toward his jeans, trying to find his phone. Marcus looked at him and said, "Get out of my house." Andre mumbled something, but it came out twisted because his jaw was injured. "Get out!" Marcus roared. Andre grabbed his clothes, stumbling, bleeding, shaking. He could barely stand. I moved toward him out of instinct, but Marcus's voice stopped me. "Don't." One word. Cold. Final. Andre looked at me like he wanted help, but I did nothing. He limped out of the bedroom, holding his jaw, leaving drops of blood down the hallway. The front door opened, then slammed, and then it was just my husband and me. The silence after he left was worse than the fight. Marcus stood near the bed, breathing like he had run miles. His knuckles were bruised, blood marked his hoodie, but I did not know how much was his and how much was Andre's. I pulled my robe tighter. "Marcus," I whispered. He laughed once. It was not a real laugh. It sounded broken. "How long?" I started crying. "How long, Serena?" I covered my mouth. He stepped closer, but not too close. "Do not cry now. Answer me." My knees felt weak. "A few months," I said. He closed his eyes. "A few months." Those words hit him harder than any punch. He turned away, placing both hands on top of his head. Then he bent forward, as if he could not breathe. I reached for him. He moved back. "Don't touch me." I froze. He looked around the room, at the bed, at the broken lamp, at the shattered perfume, at the wedding photo on the dresser. Then he looked at me. "In our bed?" I sobbed. "I'm sorry." His face twisted. "In our bed, Serena." I had no answer. He walked to the dresser and picked up our wedding photo. For a second, I thought he was going to throw it. Instead, he stared at it. His thumb moved over the glass. Then he set it down gently. That hurt worse. He was still careful with our memories, even while I had destroyed them. The police came later. A neighbor had heard screaming and called. By then, Andre was gone, but he had gone to the hospital. His jaw was broken. There was blood in the hallway, broken glass in the bedroom. Marcus had bruises on his face and cuts on his hands. 2 officers stood in my living room asking questions while I sat on the couch, shaking. Marcus told the truth. He said he came home because he forgot the paperwork. He said he found another man in bed with his wife. He said Andre swung at him first. He said they fought. His voice was flat, like he was talking about someone else's life. One officer asked me if that was true. I wanted to lie, not to protect myself, to protect Marcus. But the truth was already bleeding through the house. I nodded. Yes. Andre tried to press charges at first. That made everything worse. Marcus got questioned. There was talk about assault, self-defense, statements, and medical records. I remember sitting in the police station hallway, my hands cold, feeling like every person who walked past could see what I had done. Marcus would not look at me. Not once. His brother came to pick him up. I stood when I saw him. "Marcus, please, can we talk?" His brother stepped between us. Marcus kept walking. That was the first time he left me behind. When I got home, the house looked like a crime scene. The bedroom door was still open. The broken lamp was on the floor. Andre's blood had dried in small dark spots on the hallway wood. I cleaned it on my knees. Every wipe felt like punishment. I scrubbed until my fingers hurt. I picked glass out of the carpet. I threw away the sheets. Then I sat on the bare mattress and stared at the wall until morning. Marcus did not come home that night, or the next. On the 3rd day, he came with his brother in 2 trash bags. He walked past me like I was furniture. He packed clothes, shoes, documents, his work tools, and the watch I had given him for his birthday. I followed him room to room crying, "Marcus, please talk to me. Marcus, please, Marcus, I know I messed up. I'll do anything." He stopped then. He turned around slowly and said, "You already did anything." That shut me up. He went back to packing. When he was done, he stood by the front door and looked around the house, our house, the one we painted together, the one where we danced barefoot in the kitchen, the one where he carried me over the threshold as a joke because we were already married for 3 years when we moved in. His eyes landed on the wall where our wedding photo used to hang. I had taken it down because I could not look at it. He noticed. Then he looked at me. "I loved you," he said. I cried harder. He shook his head. "No, don't cry like that. I need you to hear me. I loved you when you had nothing. I loved you when you were angry. I loved you when you were lost. I loved you on days you didn't even love yourself." I covered my mouth. "And you brought him here." His voice cracked on that last word. "Here. That was the wound. Not just that I cheated, but I brought the betrayal into the place he built for us." "I'm sorry," I whispered. He looked at me like those words were too small to carry what I had done. Then he walked out. The divorce papers came fast, faster than I expected. Maybe because he had already made up his mind in that bedroom doorway. I called him every day at first. He blocked me. I texted from another number. He blocked that, too. I sent emails, no reply. I went to his brother's house once, and his brother met me outside. "Go home, Serena. I need to talk to him. He doesn't want to see you. Please." His brother's face softened for half a second. Then he said, "You should have begged before you did it." That sentence stayed with me. Andre disappeared from my life quickly. The exciting man, the man who claimed he saw me, the man who said I deserved passion, he did not fight for me, he did not check on me, He did not even answer when I called in panic after everything happened. Later, I heard from someone at work that he told people I had trapped him in drama and that my husband was crazy. That is when I understood. I had risked my whole marriage for a man who could not even tell the truth. Andre's jaw healed after surgery, but his pride did not. He moved departments. Then he left the company. People whispered. Some blamed Marcus. Some blamed me. Some blamed both of us. I kept working there for 3 more months because I needed money, but every hallway felt like judgment. Every elevator ride felt like people knew. Every time someone laughed behind me, I thought they were laughing at my life. Eventually, I quit. The house felt too big after Marcus left. At night, the silence pressed against me. I used to complain about him falling asleep with the TV on. Now I turn the TV on to hear voices. I used to get annoyed by his boots near the door. Now I stared at the empty spot where they used to be. His coffee mug stayed in the cabinet for weeks. I could not move it. Sometimes I would open the cabinet and look at it. A plain black mug with a chip on the handle. Nothing special, but my chest would hurt so bad I had to close the cabinet and lean against it. The bed was the worst. I bought new sheets, new pillows, new blankets. It did not matter because that room carries memories. The walls carry memories. I slept on the couch most nights. The divorce hearing was quiet. Marcus wore a navy suit. I had never seen him look so distant. He sat on the other side of the room with his lawyer, hands folded, eyes forward. He looked older. Not much, but enough for me to know I had put years on him. I wanted him to glance at me, just once. He did not. When it was over, I followed him into the hallway. Marcus. He stopped, but did not turn. I know you don't owe me anything, I said. I just need you to know I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything, for lying, for blaming you, for bringing him into our home, for making you feel like you weren't enough. His shoulders rose and fell with one slow breath. Then he turned. His eyes were calm. That hurt too. Anger would have meant there was still fire, but this was just ashes. I was enough, he said. I nodded, crying. I know. No, he said. I need you to really understand that. I was enough before you made me question it. I could not breathe. He looked down the hallway. Take care of yourself, Serena. Then he walked away. That was the last time we spoke for almost a year. I tried therapy after that. Not because I wanted to sound healed. I went because I was scared of myself. I had watched myself destroy the best thing in my life and still make excuses until there was nothing left to excuse. My therapist asked me once, "What did Andre give you that Marcus didn't?" I almost said passion, attention, excitement. But the truth was uglier. Andre permitted me to be selfish. Marcus loved the real me, and I got tired of being accountable to that kind of love. Andre loved the version of me that lied. That was easier. Months passed, then a full year. I moved into a small apartment on the other side of town. 1 bedroom, thin walls, a kitchen so small I could touch both counters if I stretched my arms. I started over with less furniture, less money, and no one waiting for me at home. I saw Marcus once at a gas station. It was early evening. The sky was orange, and the air smelled like fuel and cold wind. I was pumping gas when I saw his truck pull in. My body knew him before my mind caught up. Same walk, same shoulders, same calm face. But there was a woman in the passenger seat. She was pretty, simple pretty, not flashy. She laughed at something he said when he opened her door. He smiled back at her. A real smile, the kind he used to give me before I taught him pain. I stood there holding the gas pump, frozen. He saw me. For 1 second, our eyes met across the pumps. My heart dropped. He did not look angry. He did not look sad. He just gave me a small nod. Then he turned back to her. That nod broke me more than if he had cursed me out, because it told me I was no longer a wound. I was history. I went home that night and cried on the bathroom floor until my throat hurt. Not because he had moved on. He deserved to move on. I cried because I finally understood the cost. The cost was not just losing my husband. It was becoming a lesson in his life. I am the woman he would remember whenever he trusted someone new. I am the reason he might check a phone twice. I am the reason he might flinch at late nights and weak excuses. I am the reason a good man had to learn how betrayal sounded when it walked barefoot across his own bedroom floor. A few weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was one photograph, our wedding photo, the one from the dresser. The glass was gone, but the picture remained. On the back, in Marcus's handwriting, it said, "I forgive you, but I will never come back." I sat at my kitchen table holding that photo for a long time. I did not scream. I did not fall apart. I just stared at the young woman in that picture. The woman smiled with her whole heart. The woman who had no idea she would one day destroy the man holding her. And that is the part that haunts me most. Not the fight, not Andre's broken jaw, Not the police, not the divorce. What haunts me is that Marcus did not break that day because he was weak. He broke because I had been hitting his heart in silence for months before his fist ever touched Andre's face. Every lie was a punch. Every deleted message was a punch. Every time I made him feel crazy for seeing the truth, that was a punch. By the time he opened that bedroom door, the damage had already been done. Andre's jaw healed. Marcus's hand healed. The broken lamp got thrown away. The blood came out of the floor after enough scrubbing. But some things do not heal clean. Some things leave a mark even after everyone moves on. So if you are listening to this and you are standing near the line, please hear me. Do not flirt with fire and act shocked when your house burns down. Do not call it harmless if you have to hide it. Do not blame your partner for the attention you keep accepting from someone else. And do not wait until the bedroom door flies open to realize you had a home worth protecting. Because by then, the person who loved you may still be standing there, but they may already be gone.